Welcome everybody, Don Giannetti. We're going to look at some portraits today. I think it's kind of a nice thing to do to take apart a portrait, see how the photographer put it together, see what's good about it, see what maybe you can make better with it. So let's get right into it. We're going to look at 9 portraits here. And the first one here is a skateboarder, as you can see. We got the skateboarder. And notice the interesting crop. The photographers put the face dead center of the frame. This gives some breathing room above. And notice how the photographer left in the power lines. Now this is a choice. You don't have to leave them in. You don't have to take them out. Leaving them in does what? It gives us context. It gives us sort of like, well, he's out somewhere. He's not in town. We can tell that from the bushes, but he's somewhere in a industrial setting or a rural industrial setting. Love the color work. Look at the green of the sweater, the brown of the bank of grass there, and the skateboard. Notice the wheels are green, just like the sweater. And the skateboard is very reminiscent of this color right over here. It's a very nice shot. Now this is slight overcast or dusk lighting. The sun is right on his face, just a little bit above. You can see a little bit of a shadow cast down below, and that's fine to do that. Models the face, but the sun is essentially coming right at this young man. Now we have a shot that's intentionally underexposed, right? Just a little bit of underexposed. Gives the shot some depth. Gives it some power. Notice the subject has turned his face right up to the sky, right up to that natural light up in the sky there, giving light right down on his face. You can see that the light is very high. It's throwing a shadow under his chin. So he's actually looking up into the light. It comes down on the shoulders. It gives texture to the shirt, gives texture to the arms. A very fast lens or a wide open aperture lens blurs out the background. We don't know what that is back there. It could be a waterfall, could be a painting on a wall. We don't know, but it's really, really a nice shot. The framing keeping him right up at the top. Notice how he's almost straining to leave the frame. I mean, when you compare that to the one before where the photographer had placed the person in the middle of the frame, this is a lot more tranquil than this one. He's reaching out of the frame with the face. Nicely done portrait. Here we got a guy gesturing to the camera. The photographer's done a pretty nice job framing the guy's hat here. The hat frames his face. The light looks like it's coming from here, but we've got a lot of fill to this side. I see a lot of white buildings over here. I have a feeling he's standing in shade because you'll see it's dark on his chest, it's dark on his forearm, it's dark down the middle of his face, so there's nothing behind the photographer to reflect back into the face. All the reflected light is coming from this side and this side. And it looks like a large light source, maybe a big white wall, maybe a bank of clouds over here on this side, maybe a wall on this side, but it's large enough to get up under the hat. And in this case, in this particular photograph, that's important, getting up under the hat there. Here's another natural light shot. This is one of my favorite types of lighting. This is basically, I call it the garage shot. Stand someone inside the garage. They're looking north or west in the evening, or east. I'm sorry, they're looking east in the morning, and one more time, they're looking east in the afternoon and west in the morning. So they don't have direct sunlight on them. They just have open sky, and you get this beautiful, just wide, soft light here, and then the ambient goes on inside the building. So we got that right. He's looking east in the afternoon and west in the morning. Right. Strobes. Strobes are cool. In this particular case, we have 2 colored strobes. We have a grid spot on the face. You can tell it's a grid spot or something very similar to a grid spot, maybe a very small softbox, because the light falls off with a little bit of softness right here. Got a little bit of a sharp angle here, but that's because the nose is very close to the the skin here, so it's going to give you a sharper shadow. But notice how it falls off a little bit softer here. So it's a softbox or a grid spot with a blue gel coming this way and a larger light source coming this way. Notice how this light source comes all the way down to the hand. Do you see that? All the way down the hand. But over here on the face, very little fall off. Little bit on the shoulder, but most of the light is right on the face. So kind of more of a focus light. Really a terrific way to light and to create some real power in your portrait. Now, here's one very similar. A bright red background. This could be a photoshopped red background. It could be just simply a red seamless with some light on it. It's got a nice little gradient here. It's nice and bright here. Notice that it gets a little bit darker up here. That little bit of gradient really works well, doesn't it? And then right on the face is a grid spot. Very close to the face. Everything else is in silhouette. But we've added that little grid spot here to give it some real punch. Grid spots are really cool for doing stuff like that. We're going to go back to another almost center of the frame face. And why? Well, the idea is to show this gentleman in his environment. Do you see the environment back there? Lots of environment. And so by doing that, we can move him to the side, what have you. But by putting him here, we've got a pretty traditional portrait of the guy right here. Do you see it? Nice traditional, spread it out here. Just a nice traditional portrait, not bad. But when we add all this gray sky and we add the town down below, we give a feeling of where he is. Now, I don't know if the photographer used a strobe on this or not. If there is a strobe in use, I can't see the eyes close enough to see if there's a highlight. But if there's a strobe in use, it's very, very subtle, just to put light on the plate of the face. That's what I call this part right here. The plate of the face, just a little wink of light. That could be, again, a grid spot, could be a small softbox, could be a medium-sized softbox, but certainly not overpowering the ambient light. That look is old and dated now. It's still cool. If it works right for you, go ahead and do it. But for me, it's just a little dated. I really like this natural look. Let's get into the studio, or what appears to be a studio. This could be almost anywhere, right? We've got the seamless paper back here. And you see all the little modeling stuff in the seamless paper? Here's the truth. If you have seamless paper and you live where it's very, very humid, your paper will do this, which is why you always want to roll your paper very tight and stand it up tall. Do not lay it down and do not loosely roll it up. Roll it up as tight as you possibly can get it, tape it, and stand it vertically. And it'll keep some of these things out of your paper. Another way to get rid of it, of course, is to use a more shallow depth of field. This photographer's depth of field is pretty deep, so we're seeing the texture of the paper. On the other hand, maybe the texture of the paper is what the photographer wanted. Who knows? I don't have a problem with this texture. It's just a little pronounced for me. I might dock it back a little bit. Got beautiful light right on the plate of the face. Where is the light coming from? It's coming right from the axis of camera. That doesn't mean it's on the camera. That means it's coming right from the axis of camera. It is right directly over the camera. See how it falls off on both sides? We call this beauty lighting. Notice the highlight right dead center in the eyeball here. The highlight down the nose, right dead center. On the lip, right dead center. So this is a really, really nice way to light people. I love using on-axis lighting. Now you'll notice that in this shot, you notice the side of the face falls off real quick. Part of it is he's wearing a very dark sweater, and the sweater isn't giving you any bounce up here either. The other thing is the photographer does not have white fill cards on both sides. Add the fill cards, fill in this face because it gives the face something to reflect. This way, nothing to reflect. Dark sides of the face and a much more dramatic lighting of the plate of the face. Love this shot. Notice the head is just below center. So it's a really different kind of feeling, a little bit more dynamic composition, a little bit more challenging in a way. The very out of focus back background gives a really cool, soft palette for his face. And we've got a little bit of light coming from this side, and a little bit of bounce coming from this side. It looks to me, and I don't know for sure, but it looks to me like we've got some natural light on this side and a little bit of fill on this side. I can barely make out a little light in his eye. That would tell me that there's some sort of strobe, white card, shiny card, something. But we've got beautiful modeling to his face here. We've got this lovely highlight down the side, which gives us dimension on his face. And if you look at this side, you see a little bit softer. You see the white right here on his head. You see it right coming down here, and you see it in the eye. This could be a white card over here, a white bounce card. Could be a light panel, or maybe a medium softbox turned down way low, way under the exposure of the daylight, and very, very clean. So there's a couple of, there's 9 photographs for you to look at and think about, portraits. And thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. Take care.